really mean it sincerely that you guys are my family. So I want to say thank you, get that through, and now it's showtime. Showtime, ladies. So, spring 2011, wow, 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 what a fantastic year. Before I get started, I want to introduce two people in my world. First is Jovan, and Jovan is a personal stylist in cosmetics. And I really want, to start partnering up with people in the store that I feel have the same aesthetics that I do. You know my standards, you know where aesthetics, you know what I like, I know what you like, I know it's sort of this relationship that we have about what we get to know about each other. And there's people in the store that I feel will do the same thing for you that I do for you in shoes. So first I'd like to introduce Jovan, and a personal stylist for cosmetics. And Jovan, if you could spend just a couple minutes and just give us sort of a roundabout view of the cosmetic season and where that's going. Jovan?
So, hi, thanks, John. So basically, I'm the personal stylist of the cosmetics department. My job here is to take and give you that personalized experience of going into a cosmetic world. What people remember, usually go from counter to counter and get their counter, everything from one line. Nordstrom, we take it to the next level. We just come and we just give you a more personalized experience, and I pick what's the best product from each line for you. We do have a great event. This spring, it's all about fragrances. And of course, we're going to be having the Fragrance Festival. It's going to be April 13th, 14th, and the 15th. We also going to have a personal artist that will be painting the bottles for you. It'll be great for Mother's Day or for a birthday gift. So we have tons of those events as well. Our top selling skincare lines like Guerlain, La Mer, and Revive, they will all be having facials. So my card is right in that little table. You can feel free to take it. We can schedule, we can do facials, we can do makeovers. Like I said, it's all about the experience. And my background, that's why John and I kind of connect. My background is the French couture lines, and that's how we connect, because I usually work and I devote 6 hours weekly to study the French couture way of the makeup and how it translates from the runway all the way to the lipstick, okay? So it was a pleasure meeting you all, and like I said, we welcome you to pass by our department within the weeks or as the days go by, or just book an appointment. It's a great and marvelous experience, okay?
Thank you, Jovan. Jovan's left little goodie bags for everyone.
Oh yes, I gave you my personal favorites from Jo Malone. It's made with essential oils. I wear them every single day. It's my favorite fragrance, and I want you to enjoy it, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jovan. And next I'd like to introduce Carla Lembruno. And Carla is up in the Savvy department. And the reason why I partner again with Carla is because Carla has a great eye for fashion. Carla has worked with, many of you know Joe Cleveland. And Carla's worked with Joe at the Liberty Hotel, has done many fashion shows on Thursday nights and runway shows. So I like just to put the face together with Carla. And when you come and see me and you need someone to work with you and help you stylize your clothing, your wardrobe, I will be working with Carla on the ready-to-wear. And like I say, every once in a while I do look up ladies, and I know there's clothing and other things that go on besides a shoe. So Carla's going to remind me of that. Okay. So with no further ado, let's get started because it's really a fabulous season. So, cue cards. So, kind of the season what I want to do is I wanted to sort of talk a little bit about history of shoes too and intertwine them. And when I started this project, I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of shoes with a lot of history. And I'm like, that is really a lot of information. It's like too much information when people are drinking wine and having a good time. So, we're going to cut the lecture. What I did was I sort of took some really fascinating tidbits. So when you look at some shoes, you're like, oh wow, that came from that, or that developed from that, or that came from there. And there was so much information about shoes that I studied over the last 3-4 months that I couldn't even do all the shoes. There's so much to know about. So I left things out. There's shoes, I didn't touch boots. I didn't touch certain areas of footwear because I'll save it for fall. So I sort of gave you this evening some of the historical perspective of shoes that we see up here. and how they relate to our fashion today. So, spring 2012 really has emerged of a whole season of color. There's a lot of metallic detailing, and there's a lot of attributed to femininity. Many designers this season really have looked to the past for influence, and many of them really have pushed the envelope for inspiration to the future. Either way, ladies, this season, there's a really, really strong point of view in fashion, in footwear. And I got to tell you that my credo this year and this season is don't be afraid to be noticed. Okay? A fresh start and a promise of excitement and romance. All little girls grow up believing that the Cinderella myth, that shoes can magically change their lives. Every woman has a conscious or a subconscious, this desire to feel romantic. Eyes might be the windows of the soul, but ladies, I feel that shoes are the gateway to the psyche.
I agree.
Have you seen your credit card bill this month?
Next month.
Next month. That's right.
That's my credit card bill.
That's right.
I've seen my bill. That's mine.
You give it to her, she gives it back to you, right? I switch the names when I charge. Okay. Anyway, a new pair of shoes, and the average American woman owns 30 pair of shoes. Now, I know you, most of you ladies, as passionate collectors, they're in the hundreds, I'm sure. But a new pair of shoes may not cure a broken heart or soothe a tension headache, but I can tell you they'll relieve the symptoms and certainly chase away any of those blues.
Agreed.
Right?
It does.
Shoes have always reflected the wearer's status and economic position. The aristocratic early 19th century women, they wore these paper-thin slippers of brocade. Their soles were so fragile that they couldn't go outside a few steps. Meanwhile, their maids toiled in these sturdy black leather boots, right? There was the gold-soled sandals of the Roman empresses, the red-heeled pumps of the court of Louis XIV, and the contemporary Gucci loafer, all served as calling cards of wealth and class. Shoes are a personal record of our lives. They evoke time, they evoke places and events. Think about a child's first shoe immortalized, right? Or those wedding slippers that are tucked away in their original boxes. For me, the most important this season across the category is femininity, right? This is a return to the most beautiful single-sole shoes. I'll pass the shoes around so we can talk about them. You can see them. These really beautiful, these soft palettes,
Carrie Bradshaw.
right? Gorgeous, beautiful florals. Miuccia Prada, her most fabulous shoe this season, and it hasn't shipped yet. We're waiting for it to come in. And I want you guys to see this. It's really fabulous. It's, if you look at it, it's a masculine light, you can see the back of it. It's a masculine light car. And it has the little tail lights of the car in it. And this is what I love about this car is this is what most Italian men love most, is their women and their cars. And John Langston, our national designer shoe buyer, said, ladies, clearly the lady is back in town. What I want you to do this season when you're wearing these feminine shoes is to pair them back to these beautiful pastel colors. Use them with tailored pencil skirts, these sort of really cropped boxy jackets. And the looks you're going to get from these are really directive of, hi Andrea, welcome.
Thank you.
The looks this season that you're going to see that will pair back beautiful this season is Chanel, Dior, and Prada. Look for those vendors for your inspiration. Around 1822, American cobblers created the first left and right shoe. They used two lasts. These shoes were called the Crookeds, and yet they certainly became the first vastly improved for comfort. Prior to that, every shoe in the world was just straight on. Talk about comfort. Roger Vivier is the Fabergé of footwear. He designed for the House of Dior in the 1950s, and he also worked for Delman. Now, Delman was not only a famous shoemaker, but Delman was also a showman in Hollywood. And what